we have a system of linear inequalities. So here I have two inequalities, x plus y less than or equal to 1 and x minus 2y greater than or equal to 3. So let's solve this system of linear inequalities graphically. We already have got the graph of x plus y equals 1. So we need to add one more straight line, x minus 2y equals 3. So we put these two straight lines on the same rectangular coordinate plane. We also have determined whether we should shade the lower or the upper half plane for the first inequality. The first inequality, we have shaded the lower half plane. How about the second inequality? Referring to examples 4.1 and 4.2, you should know that we will be shading the lower half plane as well. By referring to the figure, we are looking at the common region because the system of inequalities, actually there are two inequalities connected by and. So finally, we will be shading the common region, which would represent the solutions to the system of linear inequalities. But sometimes there are no common region of the two half planes, so in that case there will be no solution to the system of linear inequalities. We want to solve the system of inequalities graphically. So the first step is we'll be drawing the two straight lines on the same rectangular coordinate plane. Then we have to determine whether we are shading the upper half plane or the lower half plane for the first inequality. The inequality sign is less than or equal to, so we should be shading the lower half plane, but the coefficient of y is negative, so in fact we'll be shading the upper half plane. We try not to shade the upper half plane, but instead we'll be using arrows to show that we are shading the upper half plane. Otherwise, it would be very hard for us to determine the overlapping region. So here I'm using 3 arrows to indicate that we are shading the upper half plane. So let's draw the second straight line, but we will be using a dotted line. Let's determine whether we should be shading the upper or the lower half plane. So the inequality sign is less than, and the coefficient of y is positive 2. So we will be shading the lower half plane. Using some arrows to indicate that we are shading the lower half plane. And finally, we have to look at the overlapping region. Here I'm shading the overlapping region. As you can see, there are 2 arrows, one green, one purple, pointing towards this region. So the shaded region represents the solutions to the system of inequalities.